and welcome to the third episode of the 5th CPSA How to Hit series, sponsored by Browning and filmed here at the National Clay Shooting Centre at Bisley. Hello. In this episode, we're going to be covering automatic ball trap, or as it's commonly known, ABT. This is a move up from the down the line that we covered in the last episode, and in this episode I'm going to cover the differences between down the line ABT, and we're going to progress on to Olympic trap in the next episode. A big difference between ABT and down the line is instead of the curved layout that down the line has, this has a straight layout. As you can see, the mats are laid out in a straight line, 3 to 3.3 metres apart and 1 metre square. Another difference between down the line and automatic ball trap is the squad size. ABT is shot with a maximum squad of 6 as opposed to down the line which had a 5. Again, the first 5 shooters will cover off one of the pads, with the 6th man stood behind the first shooter, as opposed to down the line where a shooter will have 5 shots off one stand and then proceed to the next one and the whole squad moves as one. In ABT, the shooter has his shots and then will move to the next mat. There's a constant rotation around the 5 mats. Everybody will get 5 shots, or 5 targets, should I say, off each mat, but in a sequence rather than 5 off one pad before moving. Now, when you're moving, you can't move until the shooter next to you has taken their shot. So the idea is you shoot, unload, wait for the next person to take their shots, then move off the mat and allow the next person to move onto the mat. When the next mat is being vacated, you then move on to it, take a position, load, and wait for your turn to shoot. Once the shooter to your left has taken the shot, you have 10 seconds to load, mount, and take the shot. Now, if the squad's incomplete or to shoot off, that's increased to 15 seconds. Now, it's very important when the move is made from after the shot is taken that you don't disturb the shooter next to you. So when the shot's taken, guns unloaded, you wait until that person has taken their shot and then move on to the area between the 2 shooting pads to wait for the person to move off. And that happens all the way through the sequence. As per down the line, the maximum cartridge load is 28 grams. 2 shots can be fired at a target, in which barrel you hit with one point is scored. Like down the line, the competition normally consists of 100 targets or 200 targets shot in rounds of 25. Usually, as well as the main referee, there will be 2 side referees as well, assistant referees. One of them is there to raise a hand or a flag if they see the target lost, to back up a decision of the main ref, and the other assistant referee will do the abacus so you can see a visual idea of what people are scoring. Here at Bisley, we've got an electronic scoreboard, but a lot of shooting grounds will have what we call the abacus, where the metal plate is turned to indicate a hit or a loss. Well, the selection of the referees normally comes from the squad who has just shot, and they will stay behind and referee the next squad. Another big difference between ABT and down the line is the target itself. The trap is now in the ground as opposed to in a box above the ground. The clay will go 70 metres, but this time it's got a wider side angle, either side of the central line. I can go between 1.5 and 3.5 metres above the ground. This makes it a completely random trap discipline. Faster, wider, and far more variable than down the line. For the purpose of this video, I've placed a clay on the front edge of the trap house roof above the trap to give you an idea of where the trap is. This will also be my hold point when I start to shoot the targets from each of the positions. And that's a brief introduction into the rules of ABT. In the next episode, I'll be shooting targets with the shot cam to show you the variation in angles and height that you get off this sport and the movement between the different pads.